That's the live button. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for everyone who's here live joining me. Thank you for people that'll be joining later on for the replay. Thank you that's going to be saving my channel for views for later on. I really, really appreciate everyone. Happy Saturday evening. It's 8 p.m. Hope you guys are safe, home, doing things that you're supposed to be doing, and staying washed up and sanitized up and masked up as we should. We're still in this pandemic, so we definitely need to treat it that way no matter what the mayor is saying or what your job is saying. Definitely continue to do everything you feel you need to do to stay safe. Tonight, I do have a panel guest with me, Mr. Uncommon Sense, Jose Negron, Cutie NY. You may know him as on some other platforms. Good evening. How are you, sir?
Good evening. How are you doing this fair night?
Wonderful, wonderful. So excited to be here.
hmm Yes, like I said, it's going to be an interesting discussion regarding what's considered off limits as far as all types of relationships are concerned, not just the romantic types.
Absolutely. I wanted to make sure that I broke it down from not just relationship, but friendships, courtships, because there's different type of relationships. It's not just a woman and a man, in a marriage situation. It's the relationship with our family, our close friends, it can be so diverse. So, before I really jump into the topic as well, I want to say a couple of disclaimer words for you guys, just so you guys can put it out there and I can put it out there. Bear with me while I just read a couple of words of some things that I find very important for me and everyone here in the panel, everyone listening. I want to just say a few words. So here's my disclaimer, everyone. It is never my intention to insult, hurt, offend, disrespect, or violate any of my guests while on my platform. KFIT is here to express my own views, thoughts, and opinions about various topics I find stressful, intriguing, interesting, triggers, emotional, and simply said things I experience and or am experiencing. The purpose of my platform is to share my journey via photos, videos, and posts to document my path along the way. It is my sincere hope that someone can relate to my content transparently and understand these are only my views and thoughts. KFIT is not a licensed or trained entertainer, actress, or comedian. KFIT is not a part of any affiliate programs at this time. KFIT requires your respect when engaging on my platform, discussing the various views and thoughts. KFIT does not respect nor promote violence, substance, or alcohol abuse, nor inebriated behavior in any actions on my platform. So that was a lot, and I'll definitely have it on the video soon too. So long story short, everyone who follows me knows why I said that, and hopefully everyone appreciates that. So thank you all. Any comments, Mr. Jose Negron, about my disclaimer I just posted and spoke about?
Well, to be perfectly fair, I mean, I did um, discuss briefly, not the incident per se, but the fact of the matter is that on my channel, I try to provide a safe environment for all views to be expressed. So what I did was I added a little something to my disclaimer, which is basically anyone that appears on the panel that appears to be under the influence of drugs or alcohol will be immediately removed from the panel and forever banned from Uncommon Sense with Jose Negro. Unfortunately, I had to address that on my next following stream, and I had to address it in two languages because, as you are aware, I do also do streams in Spanish.
Yes, I'm aware of that you do streams in Spanish, and I think that's very interesting that you do that. I've caught a few of those streams before, so that was very interesting. I like that.
Mhm. Well, the fact of the matter is, we do have people, that might enjoy my content, but unfortunately, they're not English dominant. Um, Now, to be perfectly honest, unfortunately, the audience is kind of small. I mean, for whatever reason, it could be because I'm new or whatnot. But let's get to the meat of the topic because I know you're not going to be doing like an 8 or 9 hour stream.
Absolutely not gonna be doing that type of stream. So yes, let's get to the topic. So We're talking about what's crossing the lines when we're talking about relationships, situationships, friendships, and courtships. So for many of us, we may have different comfort zones. We may have boundaries in these type of relationships. We may not have boundaries in these type of relationships. So for some of us, it's different. So to some of us, it may seem like a hard thing to control because we really care about the person or we really love the person. And for some of us, it may seem like, you know what, that's it, that's all, cold hearted. I'm not associating myself with the person. Or you may need time to disassociate yourself with the person. So, what things we want to talk about? But before I want to talk about that, quickly, a 2020 white red wine, first time. I definitely tried it. It's called Willy Willy. Nice red. I don't love it. It's not sweet. It's very tart. So I probably won't be drinking this at all. But definitely want to just show the bottle I have of wine for this evening. So that's that. But yes. So for me, I feel like I'm really a shy, passive person, believe it or not. So sometimes it's hard for me to be verbal or vocal when things happen sometimes. And instead of me addressing it head on sometimes, I may shy away from the person for a while. I may take time to get myself together before I jump into how I'm going to engage with this person for, going forward. But for everyone else, it may be different. Some people maybe feel as soon as the situation occurs, they're ready to pull this person to the side, have a conversation, talk about the resolution, or interject. And they may be good at handling those situations. So some of us aren't so good at handling those situations. Some of us are. But good evening, Suds and Satin. Hello, good to see you. I'm happy you have some Moscato with you. Happy you was able to join in and catch up with us. Really, really appreciate it. Hope all is well done in ATL. So I feel like there's a few things regarding tonight's topic that may be red flags or key flags for us when dealing with these types of um, relationships and how we may deal with them. So I want to definitely make a shout out to all of my new subscribers as well. I'm happy to say I have 23 subscribers. That's amazing, awesome sauce for me. So thank you for everyone who just recently joined, who's watching, who's viewing. Thank you guys so much. So one of the first few things I want to talk about when I talk about these crossing the lines is some of us deal with people who have a hard time taking accountability and having ownership for what they do. And sometimes it may not be easy to see that, when you're on the other end of the stick. So for some of us, I feel that may be the one thing when we deal with people who don't take ownership or accountability for what they do and they just don't, acknowledge it, they dance around it, walk around it, will prefer not to engage with you because they feel like, they did or did not take ownership. That can be one of the limits for us in relationships, situationships, courtships, and other kind of ships. So for me, when I speak about courtships, I'm speaking about, people, man and woman, man and man, woman and woman, dating. Probably not so much intimacy, but the level of getting to know each other. Before it's romantic. When you go out on dates, the phone calls, the texts. Maybe meeting family members and friends, stuff like that. Relationships, living together, not living together, not married or married, engaged, something like that. Situationships, baby mama, baby daddy situation, or you're not married to someone, but you're cohabitating with them. That's what I mean in the sense of that. So for all of us, it may be something different. So I don't want to always use my opinions as the best opinions. I want to hear back from other people as well. So Jose, do you have any opinions or comments on what is the line of crossing, a friendship, courtship, relationship, as far as what would it take for you to look at someone differently in those type of relationships? What would they have to do for you? Is it more of a loyalty thing? Is it a disrespect thing? Like, what is it for you that just is you need to change that situation with that person? Like, what is it that fluffles your feathers, so to say?
It's a combination of things. It could be a lack of respect. It could be an action or words said against you, and depending on the words or the actions, that would dictate what will be the following responses. If it's something minor, it's not something to get all that upset about. But if it does make you feel uncomfortable or you get angry, one of the things I will do is that I will distance myself from the person until I'm able to calm down, to have a calm, rational discussion on why the action or the words that was said um, I found to be upsetting or inappropriate. And the reason for that is when you are in anger mode, you're not thinking logically, you're not analyzing the situation. And unfortunately, what happens is when you get angry, your brain is in neutral and your mouth is in first gear.
I totally agree with that, and thank you for commenting on that because I feel the same way too. Sometimes I need the moment to take a break from that person, step away from that person, to just gather my thoughts and feelings on how I feel because sometimes, I may just, needs extra time, and sometimes I feel like, what, I was wrong, or, I can acknowledge what was wrong, but most of the time I need time to calm down and come back to one to feel how I feel about the person or the situation or to reevaluate. So sometimes for me that could be a
Mhm.
week, it could be longer. So it varies for all of us, I'm sure. But I like that you feel that way because that's exactly how I feel as well too. So
Yeah,
moving
because
on,
the fact that, sorry.
no, again, moving on. What other comments do you want to add towards that? I'm sorry, guys. So you have much more to say, and I'm definitely interested in what you have to say.
No, because again, like I said, it based on first of all what's being said or done, and also there's when there's one dynamic when you're dealing with coworkers. There's another dynamic when you're dealing with friends, and then there's another dynamic when you're dealing with a romantic relationship because there's certain expectations that are involved. I mean, there's one level expectations when you're dealing with a coworker. There's another level of expectations when you're dealing with a friend, and there's also different expectation when you have a romantic relationship, particularly if the relationship leads to intimacy.
Definitely. I feel for each relationship is different. So when it's a relationship with the family, it's something you want to fix because family's not going anywhere. The family's going to be around forever. When it's a friendship, it
Hmm.
can be somewhat the same thing too because, you may have a long history with the family member. You may be passionate about, patching it up. So depending on the person and the situation, how you may go about it, how you may approach it, how you may handle it may be different. How we may handle a relationship situation with a friendship situation may be two separate things. So it really depends on the dynamic, the person, the environment. So those things are really, important on how we deal with it. And it's definitely important to take time out to decompress and, think about everything before you just jump off the handle too and make a mistake. Because sometimes you can't come back from those mistakes when you say something too fast or you say something you don't mean because you want to just get a gut punch or a reaction out of someone just to make yourself feel good about something. So, those are really important things to figure out as well.
Hmm.
But
That's true.
what do you think about what I said?
Well, I mean, look, the fact of the matter is this. Now, it can be a little difficult dealing with someone that does not want to take accountability for their actions. And there's really not that much you can do other than simply state the facts. If that person does not want to take accountability for the action or the words that were said, then you might have to re-evaluate um, that
Sorry.
relationship.
Definitely. That's a whole fact. I'm sorry about that. I had touched my other computer and they actually started picking up what you were saying. So I'm sorry if that interrupted you. You can continue if you would like.
No, it's okay. In time, you're going to learn how to use the share function, and what you can do is use it to share any any material, any articles or things of that nature. I mean, it's all a learning process.
For sure, definitely. I realized that my computer I'm on right now, although I thought I was charging it, wasn't charging. So I have my other one handy standing. And I'm like, okay, and we log into this one while I'm in this one, but didn't realize it would pick up the feedback and audio while I'm logging in from another device. So that's what you just heard, the audio of you speaking on my other one as I logged in.
Hmm.
Yeah. But I
But
think
please
I'll probably
continue.
still end up doing that. Yes. So moving forward, thank you so much for keeping me on task with that. So moving forward, regarding, how we deal with these situations for myself, I said, I need the distance for myself. I need time to reevaluate, see how I feel about a situation. But also another thing for me that crosses the line in all of these situations is the quote unquote, excuse my French, the mind fuckery, the mind games certain people play in relationships, situationships, courtships, and friendships. Sometimes people may allow you to think by manipulating you because they know your weaknesses and strengths that their need in your life is essential. Like they're always helping you. Like without them, like you wouldn't be, as great or as important or as respectful or as successful. For example, if someone is more seasoned in the area than you are and they can get something from you, they may have the tendency to, ask you, do you need help? And with that help, may be coming something else behind the scenes you don't realize. Maybe you may have to do favors for that person. Maybe that person may want something from you that you don't want to provide. Or maybe that person may feel good at making you feel less than or dumbed down so they can continue to educate you on something. And these are things I actually go through with close friends and family, unfortunately. I'm learning to weed out the people from me that want to be around me on my platforms for different reasons that I may not also automatically be seeing the purpose of it. Sometimes I feel that people want to genuinely help me. Sometimes I feel like people want to help me so I can automatically owe them something in return as well. And depending if we're networking, if it's a business opportunity, if it's a friend or a coworker, we have to make sure we keep the boundaries in place to make sure people are not overstepping their boundaries in our lives when we're doing things that are important to us. Because sometimes, people feel like if they owe you, they owe you, or if they help you do something, you owe them for life. You can never just pay up what you've done for them. It's always like, oh, remember I did this thing for you, so you should just do this for me and you shouldn't charge me. I unfortunately go through things like that, and I call it mind fuckery because in the bottom of my heart, I know people are trying to say, hey, you may be good at something, but can you help me too? And there's ways to go about those things, but some of us, unfortunately, we have people that are really comfortable around us who know what we're great at, and they'll use us for that gift or that tool, whether we realize it or not. And at the end of the day, you may be giving away free products or services if you're an entrepreneur giving away a craft. You may be giving away time if you're happy married woman with children or no children and you prioritize your personal time. So I think it's really great to notice that mind fuckery or mind orgasms or as they say, soft talk, recognize the soft talk in these relationships because sometimes it's not just talk, it's just what they're telling you to get something out of you. And certain people may call it other things. Have you had those situations, Jose, where you knew someone was using you or trying to manipulate you for something and you knew they were going to try to get something out of you in return in some way? Have you ever experienced that?
Yes, I have. And the thing, see, the key is to properly vet these individuals because you're going to run across people. There are those that going to do it because they have your interest in heart. And then there are those that going to try to get something from you. And particularly, unfortunately, if you are a female YouTube creator, let's keep it real. We have some men who will try to take advantage of the situation and ask for things in return, which will make you feel uncomfortable. The key is to carefully vet. I'm very careful. Oh, I try to be careful with who that claim to offer assistance because not all their motives are purely altruistic.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, we're running now. Thank you for your patience. You can
I don't
proceed.
know if you caught any part. Yeah, I don't know if you. Okay, I'm just going to repeat what I said.
Please do. I
One
did hear
thing
you.
is
You can repeat. Thank you.
okay. One thing you do need to be mindful is you need to vet the people, particularly the people that trying to give you assistance because there might be something involved. And unfortunately, when it comes to like the female YouTube creators, sometimes you have some scruple, men without scruples that try to take advantage of the situation.
That's very true. It's sad, but you have to be, realistic and know that these things can happen. Sometimes we just don't think it's going to happen because of who the person is or, what the person may have done for us or how we have met the person. So we just assume, oh, no, they wouldn't do that or that wouldn't happen. But it's possible. So you have to be open minded and realistic and, keep that line of professionalism and those boundaries. And like you said, you have to vet those people, which is why I haven't had many panel guests on my platform because I haven't had the opportunity to vet many people and I haven't really had the time to see if people are really that serious and what they have to offer. Like I don't want a replay of an embarrassing moment again. So I'll definitely take my time to introduce panel guests so I know for sure it's what I want to do.
Yeah,
Any
because
commentary
the
from
fact of
you?
the matter, I'm sorry.
I said your commentary.
Yeah, because look, when it comes to like say my platform, I'm very careful about who enters my cyber home. Everyone is welcome, but it's been with the understanding that first of all, you're not going to overspeak me. You're not going to overspeak my guests. You're not going to be disrespectful. Um, and if you're unable to abide by my guidelines, guess what? My platform may not be the platform for you. And all I can say is, if you're not happy with my contact, block me.
Absolutely. You have the right to express your views and concerns, how you feel, and people don't have to chime in or be a part of your community. And they have the option to block you, so not participate, or to participate and comment friendly and nicely and respectfully only.
Hmm.
So that's really, really important.
Exactly.
That's really, really important. Sometimes
Yeah.
I feel like, we blend relationships because we find comfort in those, hence something I can relate to. And then, sometimes it comes to not be about comfort, but professionalism and, ethics and other things. So, those things are really important, not putting out the wrong examples or the wrong environments. And I've definitely learned the lesson from that because it's been so much work since then. So, I'll definitely be vetting people from now on, who are really interested and, really picking out those from the weeds that really want to versus, just soft talking me, so to say, like, yeah, 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 I'll join you. We got those people too. They say, oh, I'll join you. Or they want to do something, but when it's time to do it, they're not really interested in doing it at all. They don't want any parts of it. It's just more of a nice, quick, casual conversation, to avoid maybe uncomfortable conversation possibly. So those are things I've definitely experienced as well, But again, that comes with, being comfortable having boundaries with people, being comfortable vetting people, like you said, understanding and knowing that people are going to respect me for what I want to do and sticking to those guns and not letting these relationships, get in the way of what I want to do.
Yeah. Because unfortunately, one sad fact about YouTube is that you do have um, a lot. You have channels which it does get very wretched, where you have people arguing, screaming, cursing each other out, or what have you, or they put on content which is not healthy. Okay. I know for some people they don't like my content because I don't do retro streams and I don't dis- denigrate anybody and I don't put down anybody and I don't allow that on my channel. And when I do talk about controversial issues, uh, I try to look at it in an analytical manner.
It's interesting that you say that. I try not to talk so much about, political events and news and economic events and news. Always because I'm worried about, people banning and scamming. But I know that's gonna happen regardless of whatever. I'm definitely trying to keep it more addressed to, things I've experienced and went through wellness and mental health matters. But those conversations are interesting very much because you have a lot of opinions from a wide variety of audiences, backgrounds, and and age ranges to say how they feel versus it keeping it narrow minded to one specific area. So those topics do get a lot of good feedback. I'm not sure if those are topics I'm going to talk about in the future, but I have been talking to more people about topic discussions I should talk about, and I'm getting a lot of feedback about things I can talk about. And some of them are kind of out of the element from what I normally talk about. So I'll definitely probably be using the research tab and showing my screen to share information as I talk about things outside of my element that I really don't have a common education or specific interest in.
Mhm. Now, one topic which is perceived to be controversial that I shared on my platform was toxic feminism, because some women, let's keep it real, they get a little offended by the topic. However, the topic had to be discussed, and of course, throughout the series, I made a point of stating several times that not all women are toxic. Some are. And in fact, I made it through a three-part series, of which the first two parts was in English and the third part was in Spanish.
That's how it was popping. You had to make it an English and a Spanish one, so it was lit. That means it was a good one. You had to do it in two different languages. So yeah, you killed that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, the fact of the matter is this. We have different opinions when it comes to women. Some people, they don't have a healthy viewpoint. Um, and unfortunately, it's based on a couple of bad examples of certain individuals on TikTok and on YouTube. But, the fact of the matter is, you cannot let a couple of bad apples, affect the whole orchard.
I agree with you. You definitely can. You gotta like take the punches and roll with it. Everything is an experience, a learning experience. So when something bad happens, it doesn't mean quit or give up. You learn from it and you keep going. And you know that they're gonna be bad apples in every bunch, every work environment, every relationship you may have, whether it's a work relationship or family. Like that is the norm. There will be a bad apple in every bunch we're in, and that's whatever relationship you want to call it: courtship, relationship, friendship, situationship. We all have to just learn how to make the better decisions, make better choices, and just see it from a mile ahead,
Mhm.
so to speak. So when you know better, you do better. You've been around the block a few times, you know what it looks like, you know what the liar looks like, you know what the scammer looks like, you know what the thief looks like, you know what the manipulator looks like. Sometimes we have it in family, we have it in friends, we have it at work, we have it, in different areas of our lifestyles. So it's commonly out there. Sometimes me, for sure, I can definitely try to make myself not see things I want to see, especially when it comes to family and those I'm really, really close with. I have so much grace, and I'm like, no, you just have to. It's okay, Cashel, and I'll beat myself up later. But that's again why we're having this conversation tonight as well, too, because loyalty. Loyalty sometimes is one of those things that is something once it's, lost, it's over for someone in a relationship or courtship or friendship or situationship because if someone feels you're not loyal, they feel like they can't be themselves around you. They feel like they can't trust you, obviously. They're second guessing you, looking behind their shoulders. And that's too much for anyone to do in any kind of ship, relationship, friendship, courtship, situationship, friends with benefit ship, doesn't matter. Loyalty is everything to certain people. Sometimes it's not even about money, it's about knowing that they can have someone that has their back, ride or die, 24/7, someone they can count on. And when we find out people closest to us that we really love are not loyal, for some of us, that's the icebreaker. That is the crossing line. That is the deal breaker. So, what would you have to say about that, Jose?
Well, I mean, look, the fact of the matter is, there is a saying that actually my cyber daughter that actually stated, hurt people, hurt people. I mean, people who are hurt for whatever reason, they're going to hurt others because they never dealt with whatever is causing them to be flawed. So that's something like, for example, if you get into a bad relationship and it ended, and you didn't do anything to try to get therapy to or something to deal with that issue, what's going to happen is you're going to bring the emotional garbage from one relationship to another relationship. Let me just give you an example. Let's say I have been hurt by an African American female, okay, and I don't get therapy to try to address that issue. I could be left with the impression all African females are the same. We know that's not the case. Unfortunately, when you are hurt, you're not thinking logically. You're not able to analyze things clearly.
Absolutely. And sometimes we're hurt and we don't realize we're hurt. We're calling it something else. We're saying we're depressed. And it could be that too. We're just saying, oh, it's just a bad week. Or we don't want to identify with what that thing is that has us hurt acting out. So that's really important as well because, again, you don't know what you don't know. We all are connected. We all go through the same thing. Some of us are seasoned, been through it so many times, we can write a book about it. Some of us are just running for the first time. We're like, all right, what's wrong with this person? Like, what is going on? What does that mean? So, thank you for commenting. Excuse me. I have another thing up too regarding all of this. And the last thing that I want to add to this, and we'll just talk openly thereafter, is another way or another thing some people feel that, is disrespectful to them is just disrespect. When you're in a friendship, relationship, courtship, or situationship, and it's just straight disrespect, no respect for the person, their likes, their dislikes, their beliefs, their core value, anything they're about. When you're around someone and there's just like no respect, and they fall into one of these ships with you, it's a deal breaker sometimes. How can you be around someone who has no respect for any of the things you're trying to do or you? How can you, whether they're your blood aunt, uncle, cousin, child, father, mother, daughter, best friend, neighbor, pastor, priest, doctor, like we've all experienced disrespect at some point from any area of our lives, especially even friendships with family, at work, personal. So for some of us, we just don't have the patience to be giving people second and third and fourth chances. We see them at face value the very first time. Some of us don't wait for people to make consistent mistakes for us to say, okay, I'm tired of it. Some of us know from that first experience, it's a doozy. I only will deal with this person in A, B situation and no other. Or some of us, make mistake of trying and trying again, thinking we can control everyone outside of our environments. So, Jose, could you add to that on your view? How do you feel about that? What is your take on that?
Well, look, the fact of the matter is, when it comes to issues with loved ones, like family, I mean, it's you cannot pick your family. I mean, your family is your family. What you can do is try to have a discussion with them to explain to them why what they did was disrespectful. If they choose not to follow, to take into consideration what you're feeling, you have to distance yourself. Now, when it comes to something like a romantic relationship, um, what has to be made clear from the beginning. Um, both parties must express what they're expecting. Like, just say, for the sake of argument, I have a romantic relationship with you. You're going to express what you hope that you could expect the relationship. I'm going to do the same thing. Okay. So we have a clear understanding what are our expectations. And then when one of us, for whatever reason, get disrespectful, I mean, whether I be disrespectful to you or you'll be disrespectful to me, we have to have a serious discussion. And if one of us is going to continue to be disrespectful, then you really have to evaluate the situation. Family, I mean, it's the limitation what you can do. But when it comes to romantic relationships, I mean, there are options. I either try to rectify the problem or end it.
Well, rectifying it is definitely, I think, the first thing everyone wants to do, because who likes to have these uncomfortable
Yes.
conversations? Who wants these uncomfortable situations? Not to say that we haven't been in them, we all have been in them, but it's just awkward and dysfunctional to keep them going like they're not actually occurring. So, again, it's definitely great to nip it in the bud right away, as soon as you see it coming. And, sometimes it's great to just have the expectation realistically, like, anything can happen, regarding us being on a live stream, us presenting personally in front of a whole room of people. Anything can happen in any situation. Not to be a great way to think, just to be on p's and q's at all time, but people should respect the things you do, respect you. And if you're not in that environment where you're getting that respect, that may mean changing your environment to those people that actually give you that respect without you demanding it. And for some of us, if we're soft spoken, that's hard. If you're outspoken, it may be taken as that person's too aggressive. If you're a confident person, it may be taken as in that person's snooty. So how we deliver things, how we address things, how we speak about things, who those people are we're talking about, who we're talking to and engaging to, it can be difficult. But sometimes it's not, because some of us are short patience. Enough is enough. We don't need second, third, and fourth times, to do things. Some of us got to get hit on the head, or get hit by the fire a few more times before we realize that was really, really hot and it really, really hurt. Like, why do I keep doing this? But then in the day, we all have these ships, relationships, courtships, friendships, situationships, and we all have to deal with difficult people at some time or another. And how we deal with it is going to help us grow or make or break us. Some of us are great at it. Some of us are not great at it. One thing I hate that I do, I avoid. I'm really good at avoiding things, whether I'm avoiding your phone call, avoiding your text, avoiding you in person, avoiding the block I may see you on, avoiding the location you may frequent. I'm really good at avoiding. And, I've learned over the time avoiding is not great, because you're not handling the situation. You're just postponing it. So for me, that's something I have to get better at, because if I avoid something, I'm never fixing it. I'm just dwindling down the time until I'm going to bump into the situation again with a person. So, any commentary on that, avoiding uncomfortable situations or uncomfortable conversations or topics?
Well, the fact of the matter is, the tendency is to avoid having the uncomfortable conversations. But these are things that needs to be done, because if you do not have the discussion, the situation does not get rectified, and it becomes like a cancer. It's like I said before, and I'm just going to use the analogy of a boyfriend girlfriend relationship. Okay, if either parties are doing something, whether to be disrespectful or unkind or not respecting their boundaries, you're not doing that person a favor by postponing the conversation. What you do is you're making it worse, and then one day one person is going to blow up on that person, on the other person, and then the question is going to be, what's going on? Why didn't I mean, because some people do not see what they do, others they see what they do, but unfortunately they don't care.
Yeah, that's true. That's kind of like the toxic conversation you have, or toxic femininity on your platform. Some people don't care about what they do. Some people do it with the mission and goal, and they definitely do care, but they're one sided and narrow minded about what they're doing. So
great engagement. I definitely like all your responses to the things I'm saying about the flags. We see sometimes when people are clearly crossing the lines in relationships, friendships, situationships, and courtships. I feel like, in 2022, life is different. Sex is super casual. Femininity is really out there. Sexual exploitation is extremely vulgar and rare on social media, the news, TVs, apps. Sex sells still, and even from the commercials that come on at inappropriate times of the night about erectile dysfunction. At the end of the day, like, we're not living in the same times as the 1960s and 70s and 80s, when certain things were more closed mouths or closed shed, or dressed up differently. In 2022 and 2023, like, everything's out there. No one's body shaming really that much. The skinniest women and the healthiest women and men are just showing their all on social media. We have Christian dating sites. There's finding love on social media through chat rooms, and there's catfishing. Like, life has just went so crazy with dating and marriage and relationships and courtships and friendships. Not to say that it's anything wrong with any of those things if anyone chooses to do it. But to each his own. But the point I'm trying to make here is that from older generations to now, the way people get married, courtships, friendships, the way dating world is just different. And it's different because it's a different time, it's a different environment, it's a different element, even to dressing is different. It's just a different time. So with all that said, certain things will change with time, like generations and trends. We do get that, but at the end of the day, certain things should never change. Respect, loyalty, trusting someone, um, being aware and accountable, for, your actions. All those things should still be true no matter what the generation or genre or trend of life is. But I kind of noticed, in the last 10 years, more relationships and friend, well, not much friendships, but more relationships and courtships have been more out there, explosive, vague, not so private, not so privy. Everything is just out there and vulgar, extreme. I don't know how you feel about it. Do you have any commentary on relationships, courtships
Yeah,
now versus the past?
unfortunately, okay. And I'm going to try to be careful of how I phrase it because I don't want to make it sound like I'm anti-millennial. Okay, but one thing you do see nowadays is like all everything that's going on, you see it in social media, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagrams, TikTok, Snapchat. It's like we all. It's like they have to air the fact that they're going through problems or like this person's cheating and what have you. And I hate to say this, but a lot of the people that's doing this are millennials. Again, not all of them are millennials are doing. Unfortunately, I mean, quite a few of them are millennials. I mean, you don't see many people of my generation into the tomfoolery. I mean, and to be perfectly honest, there's the same. There's really nothing new underneath the sun. What is new is how the generation perceive it. I mean, there's going to be a big difference between how a millennial will perceive something compared to a baby boomer, and we're like the old folkies. We need to be with going to that nursing home and what have you.
Oh, stop that. Stop that, Jose. We're not going there. Do you I want to ask you a question. Do you remember chat rooms back in the day before we had MySpace and Facebook? There would be like these chat rooms. You call the phone number and it would be like 20 people on the phone, and it would be like men and women, guys and girls, of course, in a chat room, and you can break off to separate chat rooms to talk to someone. So say we were in a virtual Zoom, but the Zoom was a phone call, and we're all getting on the phone calls to try to meet and mingle and date. They would have a chat room back in the day. You call this number, there's a bunch of guys and girls on the phone. you're all talking on top of each other on the chat, and you know you got to try to find the person you're most compatible with in the chat room. And then if you find someone over all the people talking, you and I, for example, could go from the main chat to a separate chat where we don't see each other. There's no Facebook or social media profile about where we are, where we're from. Just on our voices alone, we would go into this chat room to get to know each other. That was a big thing back in the day, chat rooms. Do you remember that?
Yeah, well, yeah. It existed. To be perfectly honest, I never really took advantage of all that. And you know, I've been active in social media from for like for the for the last like 10 to 15 years. It's really within the last 2 years that I really expanded into social media. Unfortunately, everything we got, everything we got to show. I mean, it's like people are trying to, and again, some of the people are doing it. The millennials and the alpha people.
Yeah, very true. Like, you know, even the show Catfish, I watched that show sometime, and you know, it's just like where we are now on YouTube, live stream, Facebook, Instagram. You meet people on the platform and you think they're who they are because you see them, you see their photos, their pictures. Long story short, you may start dating them, calling them your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and you only spend time on a video chat only or a phone call conversation. And sometimes you meet up in person, sometimes you don't. But a lot of the times you meet up with someone who's not the person you're looking at on screen. You're meeting up with someone who's not who you believe you've been sending money to, not who you believe you're telling you love them to, not who you believe them to be the person they say they are, their profile with their pictures. Um, I'm lucky to say I've never been in that situation because I've never really pursued online dating on a serious, you know, level. I've definitely had my platforms just to like hang out with friends and reconnect with friends on school platforms and stuff like that. So I haven't fallen into that situation, but many people have realistically been on these dating sites and called these TV shows because they've been scammed out of money and they've been robbed by their hearts. You know, they have a bad heart now because they don't believe in love anymore because someone lied to them or, you know, someone's took their credit card, like all kind of horror stories. Some people go kidnapped and missing. It's just crazy, but it's definitely enough to make me never want to do online dating or anything like that and just use the platforms for what I use it for. So what do you say about the people that are interested in the online dating and, you know, go to the point of meeting people outside of the online platform and taking that risk of not knowing who they may meet because they want a courtship or a relationship or a friendship or a situationship with someone?
Okay, if you're going to go the online dating route, one thing you never do, you never share your credit card information, your debit card information, your social security number with someone that you're chatting with on a dating site. Okay, and be mindful. There's not all dating sites are the same. You have some that like Bumble and Tinder. It's more like if you wanted to meet up for a casual sexual thing. There are dating sites where there are some safeguards. But one thing you never share your social security number, your credit card information, your debit card information. You never do that. And if they start asking for money, just avoid it like you would avoid play or Trump would avoid someone trying to subpoena them to get their tax record.
That's right. That's right. Mr. Negron, it has been a pleasure having you on my panel again. You're always a great guest, always respectful, always coming with knowledge and jewels and tips I can have. Thank you so much for being with me, and I definitely will take you up on your offer as the co-host for the 14th, I believe you said. So I know I haven't responded to you in social media, but yes, I'll be your co-host that day.
I would appreciate it because Of course, I gotta plug my channel. Forgive me for I gotta plug it. For the benefit of those who are not familiar, I do have a channel. It's called Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. What we do is we have this mature conversations regarding various issues where we try to find solutions. One thing I do is try to keep a healthy and safe environment for everyone to share their views and what have you. So I'm gonna be live tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. In fact, the topic will be how to select a capable therapist. In fact, I plan to have a therapist to share his expertise. Um, because the fact of the matter is, not everyone knows how to select a capable therapist. Now, I say capable because I don't believe in using the term good and bad because the problem is good and bad is too objective. What's your definition of good may not be my definition of good. So we're going to have a discussion regarding that. Now, for the month of May, I do plan to have an all female panel to discuss positive femininity because unfortunately, some people don't think that that concept exists. It does exist. It's just that unfortunately, some of the toxic people make more of a noise than the non-toxic people. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have try to have an all female panel to share their viewpoints because unfortunately, as much as I can do research, I'm not a female. So so what's better to who's better to discuss um, positive femininity than positive feminism?
Beautifully, beautifully said. Thank you so much, Jose Negron, for coming on my stream. For everyone out there watching in real time or
Thank
for the
you.
replay, please make sure you visit Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron here on YouTube. He has some great panel guests, some great topic discussions. You'll definitely want to chat a whole bunch of comments, even though the video is ended, to say you were there with him in real time. So thank you so much for all of your input. You guys can definitely catch me on his platform soon, Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. He'll be live tomorrow. I believe he's also live on Tuesdays and Sundays, right? That's correct, Jose?
Actually, okay. Well, actually, during the week, um, what I do is I do like a 30-minute video. In fact, um, I believe it's next week. I'm going to be talking about, or the following week, I'm going to be talking about what things to do, think about before you retire, because people like myself are getting closer to the day where we can retire. And so, this is something that we need to consider. Also, I'm going to be doing a short video regarding some of the myths regarding the baby boomers, because some people have some misconceptions about people of my generation. So, and in fact, to be perfectly honest, the theme for season 3 is Revenge of the Baby Boomers, and it's kind of like an
Ooh.
inside joke because one person actually said to me that I should retire to an island and drink mojitos.
Yo no sé, we don't
So
speak
it's
that
just
kind of
my way to
English
let
here.
people. I'm sorry.
I said we don't speak that kind of English here, so I don't believe in those removing to islands and drinking mojitos until we're dust. I don't believe in those kind of things here. Mm-mm. Not here,
No,
no
believe me.
way, Jose.
Well, it's just my way of letting people know that this there's some things that we baby boomers can do well. I mean, I know that we are notoriously to not to be the most tech savvy people in the world, but not all of us is the same.
Right, for sure. Like, that's not everyone. Like, my mom, I had to really teach her how to text and make a full profile on Facebook and Instagram. So there's some people that really have no idea what they're doing at all. And there's some people that are really, really
Yeah,
up in tune with everything. They just choose not to be a part of everything because it's just not their taste. Simply.
I agree. That's true.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna put you in the background for a while. I'm gonna talk to you really quickly before I end the stream. But thank you so much, Jose. I'm gonna check in with you in about 2 seconds. Okay? Can you wait for me for about 2 seconds?
Oh, well, thank you very much for allowing me on your platform.
Thank you. One moment, Jose. Thank you so much. So thank you, everyone. It's been a blast. Thank you guys for joining me for one and FaceTime. It's been so much fun. I've definitely liked talking tonight about the red flags and crossing the line. Some of us don't get a chance to really talk about those things, although it's really, really important. We definitely should talk about it. But just like me, sometimes I'm uncomfortable talking about the things that I don't really want to talk to. That's why I do some of that here. I do my therapist. Shout out to Jasmine Jones. Shout out to my mom, Spicy K54, aka Kim Richardson, with the popping topic tonight of what is crossing the line in your relationship, situationship, friendship, or courtship. So that's it. That's all from you guys. Make sure you catch me next Saturday at 8 where I have a brand new topic. I may have panel guests. I'm not really sure, but definitely be there or be square. Have a good evening, y'all. Peace out.